brand new 2021 NFL mock draft. Mitchell Renz and the best guy in the business, Tom Downey. Go give him a follow at What Going Downey. No surprise, Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall to the New York Jets.
Tank for Trevor is underway. You don't need me to tell me how good Trevor Lawrence is or why the Jets would take him.
He's actually pretty good.
And the same is true with Justin Fields going number 2 to the Jaguars. They are subtly tanking as well. They've competed. They've made it close, but I think if this is how things stand, Lawrence 1, Fields 2, pretty easy. Frankly, if the Bengals end up picking number 3, which is a great time to remind everyone we're doing this based on the current NFL draft order as we sit here entering Week 14, I think this is like a borderline lock.
Yeah.
Like you franchise quarterback, don't let Joe Burrow die. That's easy.
All right, so at number 4, to the Los Angeles Chargers, Patrick Surtain, top cornerback from Bama.
This is where things get difficult. I like Surtain's coverage ability. The Chargers would love Penei Sewell. Maybe you could go receiver here. I think L.A. would love to trade down.
Yep.
Like their needs don't really align that well with the top players on the board. In an ideal world, Surtain goes later than 4, but unless they wanted to go Jamar Chase, I didn't have a great fit here.
At number 5 to the Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State.
Thanks, Tom. I hate it.
Isn't he just Jalen Smith?
Yeah, that's my concern. But the Cowboys liked Kenneth Murray a lot relative year.
Okay.
They loved Jalen Smith.
Yes,
this
they
is
did.
what they do.
They
This
love
is the type of
linebackers,
guy
man.
they fall for. Now, pure talent relative to position, if you don't factor in positional value, Parsons is probably a top 5 guy.
Yep.
But I have coverage concerns. He's an off-ball linebacker. Maybe you want to play him more as an edge rusher, but that's just Jalen Smith. So the Cowboys, I think, will like him. I did not do trades in this mock draft. Dallas would trade down.
Yeah?
I hope. I think that they should definitely trade down.
All right, Tom, the NFL mock draft is your baby, so I'm going to make you set a number here. This video needs to get to blank likes, and we're going to make a video around a mock draft
I'm
with
going to demand
trades.
1,000.
1,000?
I'm going to demand at
If
least
you
1,000.
guys want a mock draft, okay, with trades, this video needs to get to 1,000 likes. If you guys have never heard of Chat Sports the NFL Draft, shame on you. We've been the number 1 most watched draft coverage 3 years in a row on YouTube, so I'm telling you, you better like that video. Wide receiver time, Jamar Chase going to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I thought about going quarterback here. I really did.
Dude, this thing would have just lit up.
I thought about corner as well, but Eagles fans have made it clear they need more receiver help. I'm inclined to agree. You've got Jalen Reagor there long-term. Hopefully, maybe Travis Fulgham. But let's get them another legitimate, actual number 1 wide receiver for whomstever their quarterback ends up being.
At number 7, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, wait, his twin brother, Zach Wilson from BYU.
Have you gotten around to watching much Zach Wilson?
A little bit, but I only watched the Coastal Carolina game.
That's okay. His receivers were bad in that game. Don't look at the stat sheet. They were bad. I'll send you some stuff. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDown if you guys want the All-22 there for him. He's so much fun, dude. He is the most fun quarterback to watch because the offensive line is not great. He's out there just kind of running around and just slinging it downfield, 40-yard dimes.
He reminds me of Johnny Manziel.
It's the white quarterback wearing a low-digit number. So he's not Manziel. The off-field stuff's not anywhere nearly as bad. I think his arm is better than Manziel, too.
Okay.
In fact, I would actually argue substantially better than Johnny Manziel. Wilson's a lot of fun. If you're Carolina, you know I liked Teddy Bridgewater, but I think he's a stopgap option for this organization. Take Zach Wilson. Give him a year. It'll be fun.
At number 8, Gregory Rousseau going to the Atlanta Falcons.
If you look at just the measurables and the stat sheet, you go, Tom, this guy's the number 2 overall pick. What are you doing? When you look more at how Rousseau achieved everything, what you actually have is a deceptive stat sheet because Rousseau dominated on the interior of the defensive line. That's where he won, almost as a defense tackle in sub-package situations, which is fine. Worked really well for college, obviously, but that's not how he's going to win for the most part in the NFL unless he bulks up substantially, which might take away some of his speed on the edge. I think you're hoping for Calais Campbell, but this is still more of a raw, toolsy guy, which you should still bet on, especially for a team like the Falcons that need edge rush help, but I'm actually not convinced he's the first edge off the board.
You are watching Chat Sports updated 2021 NFL mock draft. Mitchell Renton's Tom Downey, number 9 to the Miami Dolphins, DeVonta Smith, wide receiver from Alabama.
Yeah, Micah Parsons already off the board here, so let's go receiver for Miami and pair up Tua with one of his old buddies, DeVonta Smith. Look, we're going to have the exact same discussion we had last year. Which Bama receiver is better? Is it Jerry Jeudy or is it Henry Ruggs? Is it DeVonta Smith or Jalen Waddle? The injury for Waddle might be a bit of a concern, but I think he's going to be fine there.
Yep.
Smith is kind of a weird prospect because the production at Alabama is off the charts stupid good. It's 9 games, Mitch. 9 games. The dude's averaging over a touchdown and a half, almost touchdown and a half per game. Like it's obscene what DeVonta Smith is doing. But especially for those teams that value, thresholds athletically, there's going to be some concern there. DeVonta Smith, although he's fluid and gets open super easily, he's probably going to run in the 4.5s, I think.
Okay.
Maybe he runs, upper 4.4s, which is great. I'm still on board with him, regardless of what he wins. He's also listed at 175. The track record of 175 receivers,
not great,
especially non-4.4 guys, is basically non-existent. So Smith is an outlier in multiple ways, but he's just so good. You can't pass on him. He should be a round 1 pick. It's going to be a discussion that the national media will have in like 2 months or so, but I like Smith. I'm going to go with him here.
So let us know down there in the comment section. And you know what? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. Who is your favorite draft prospect? Scroll on down in the comment section and let us know. At number 10, Caleb Farley, cornerback of Virginia Tech. Is this it?
This is kind of my dude, yeah.
This is your pet cat.
Hey, I'm a sucker for Virginia Tech players for whatever reason. Farley fits a lot of what I want out of a corner, what I think most of the NFL wants out of a corner. Are you long? Are you athletic? Do you have ball skills? That's Caleb Farley. This is someone that you can play man-to-man coverage with. Yep. I think the dream world is model your defense off the Miami Dolphins. Get outside corners that can go man-to-man. Farley can do that, and corner's a huge need for Denver.
At number 11, to the Detroit Lions, Jalen Waddle, the second Bama receiver.
You might not bring back Kenny Galladay.
Yep.
But what you should do is pay Galladay and draft Jalen Waddle and profit.
Oh, man.
I love watching Waddle play. Now, the injury, I think, is a potential concern there.
Sure.
This assumes he's healthy. We might have to drop him later on if we get word otherwise. But in a very good receiver class, I found room for a lot of them.
At number 12, another quarterback off the board, the fourth one in this mock, Trey Lance from North Dakota State, going to the Washington football team.
Kind of a weird prospect to some extent. I actually like his arm.
Yep.
I don't think it's a full-fledged howitzer, but I think it's at least above average. And even though he
said
howitzer, you know what a howitzer is?
Is that a gun?
Yeah.
Okay,
there you go. I don't know if he's going to get knocked for playing one game this year or whatever. He played at North Dakota State, so there's lesser competition. But what they asked him to do in terms of the offense during snap was fairly simple.
Okay.
Pre-snap and prep-wise, there was actually a pretty decent amount of stuff going on in there. So I like Trey Lance. He slides a little bit because of the Zach Wilson emergence, which I did not see coming at all this year. And I think there are a lot of teams in this 12, 13, 14 range that would love to get Trey Lance, but he went 1 pick earlier.
So pick a quarterback. If these 3 were available to you and maybe your favorite team, who would you go with? Justin Fields type JF, Zach Wilson type ZW, Trey Lance type TL. Man, this guy, he is happy. Christian Durasaw.
Yeah, Durasaw had a nice little rise this year.
I love this pick.
When we did our last mock draft 2 months ago, I hadn't gotten around to watching any of him yet. I'd heard a couple positive things from guys like Dane Brugler, and he's been awesome this year, turns out. Bears would love Trey Lance. He's off the board here. They'd love Zach Wilson off the board. We'll talk about Mac Jones, Kyle Trask later, but I'm going to go offensive tackle here, and they'll figure out quarterback some other way.
J.C. Horn, you're going to the 49ers. This because you don't anticipate Richard Sherman coming back?
Well, Richard kind of said he wasn't going to come back. So,
okay.
And I think they've got like 1 corner under contract or something ridiculous, or maybe that's a different team that only has 1 corner under contract. Either way, no, it's the Niners. I'm right. They need more cornerback help. I like J.C. Horn a lot. I love the way he handled himself during and after the Auburn game. Dude shut down Seth Williams. He's a big-bodied receiver. Horn out-muscled him. I like Horn a lot. I think in general it might be a little bit early, But again, I am limited with no trades and trying to actually fill needs for teams too.
Protect Kyler Murray. Number 15, going to the Cardinals, Wyatt Davis.
You get some interior offensive line help there.
Yep.
I don't think they're in great shape. In the past, I'd mock Creed Humphrey, but Davis was always off the board at this point. Protecting Murray should be a key thing.
All right, next pick coming in is Kyle Pitts, tight end from Florida. This is probably one of the most athletic, complete tight ends that I've seen, maybe since O.J. Howard.
I am actually potentially not going to label him as a tight end.
Ooh, okay.
I broke my rules last year, and I listed Isaiah Simmons as an athlete. I think I might just list Kyle Pippins as a weapon because he's not really a tight end.
As a howitzer.
Like on howitzer.
Oh, okay, I don't know what
you
you
failed
said.
there.
All I heard before was, how is it, sir? So I was like, I don't know.
Kind of like Isaiah Simmons, but with Kyle Pitts. If you treat him as a Jason Witten Y inline tight end, you're an idiot. That is not how you should utilize Kyle Pitts. Let him be a damn receiver. Honestly, I think he's the best receiver in this year's class. He has been awesome for Florida. Patriots, put him at receiver, put him at tight end, move tight end. He's going to thrive in that offense.
You heard the man. Go do it. Go ahead. Seriously, we're going to have coverage all the way through the entire draft. We've been the #1 most watched NFL draft coverage 3 years in a row. Over 1 million views last year. It was like 10 million views throughout the whole week. Turn on your notifications. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. And do not miss our NFL draft coverage. I'm telling you, it's the best in the biz. At number 17 in our 2021 NFL mock draft, Kwity Paye of Michigan going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I asked you edge or linebacker for Raiders, and you went edge there. Kwity Paye is well regarded by the NFL. And I know you go time, he's got 2 sacks. Yeah, he's got a ton of pressures too. And it hurts him that Michigan's secondary is trash.
Yep.
It is tough to get to the quarterback when the ball's out too quickly. So Kwity Paye, I think, fits what the Raiders like. I think he fits that athletic edge rusher role. He's got really good size too, actually. He's kind of a freak athlete. Teams are going to be high on him, and I would say there is a very real possibility he ends up being the first edge taken before Gregory, Rousseau, and other guys we'll get to here in a little bit.
Call him out. Who's the most overrated draft prospect this year? So earlier we asked you, hey, who's your favorite? Who's the most overrated prospect? I'm going to throw out Trey Lance.
Okay, I don't mind Lance in there.
He reminds me a lot of Jordan Love.
I'm curious how you guys vote in the comment section. It depends on from where I think I'm going to end up valuing him versus where I think the NFL draft Twitter is lower on him versus where the NFL will be. I think there's going to be a big difference with how Gregory Rousseau is viewed.
Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota, going to the Baltimore Ravens.
I got to get Lamar a receiver.
You got to get him something.
You got Marquise Brown. Let's get him a big body guy. What Miles Boykin was supposed to be. Bateman can generate some separation as well. I think it'd be a good fit in Minnesota. Or for the Ravens, excuse me.
Z, going to the Giants, edge rusher from Georgia.
He's had a really good breakout year. At Giants, I was kind of in a weird spot. Like, they've invested so much in the offensive line. The edges have been banged up and not that great. So I went with Azeez Ojulari, who's had a big-time breakout year for Georgia. Not sure if he ends up going around 1, but I kind of like the fit here.
Rashawn Slater, offensive line. What a great name, going to the Minnesota Vikings.
He held up against Chase Young last time because he opted out this year.
Yep.
Last time we saw him, he held up against Chase Young. He will be docked, though, because his arm length is not 34 inches. Might not be 33 inches either. So if you want measurables at left tackle, he's not your guy. He's going to be a great guard, though, and I play him at tackle, too. I think for Minnesota, figure out who's your left tackle, Ezra Cleveland or Rashawn Slater. Play the other one at left guard, and you will thrive.
Inches matter. Inches matter. All right, next one coming in. Samuel Cosme, offensive tackle for Texas, going to the Bucs.
A lot like Connor Williams in the sense that he needs more strength. But Williams has developed into a very good guard in the NFL.
Okay.
So, and I think Cosme can be better than Connor Williams is, and he's taller too. So I think there's more room for some frame and strength there. I kind of want to get Donovan Smith out of that left tackle role, so give me Cosme at 21.
With the second pick in the first round for the Miami Dolphins, Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa.
I like Zaven Collins, man, and some of you guys have mentioned him in the comments before. He's been awesome at Tulsa this year.
Yep.
And remember, Miami didn't have Micah Parsons available. I think I would rather have Collins out to the top 20 than Parsons inside the top 5.
Oh.
Because I think they're going to be used in similar fashions. Collins has done a little bit of everything for Tulsa this year. I think for the way the Dolphins' defense is run, I think he's such a good fit in Miami because sometimes you want to have their linebackers blitzing or playing off ball or playing on the edge or dropping into coverage. That's what Collins has done this year. 7.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions, had like a 96-yard pick six in overtime to win a game for Tulsa this year. He's a good athlete. He's built pretty thickly too. I like him quite a bit. I think this is maybe not on the national stage quite as well known, and I know Dane Brewer's a big fan of him too. I like Collins quite a bit in what is shaping up to be a pretty good late round 1, early round 2 linebacker class.
Sneaky good. All right, we also got a sneaky good deal going on right now. If you need a new NFL jersey, we got hundreds of jerseys for about $80. Now, you know what? We like to brag once in a while, and we found even better deals going on. If you go to chatsports.com/jersey deal, there's probably like 10, maybe 20 jerseys available for $63.99. Obviously, they're not going to last forever. But if you need a new team, if you need a new favorite player, we got you covered. Awesome stocking stuffers, awesome gifts for the holidays, Tom. Chatsports.com/jersey deal. It's going to be in the live chat. It's in the comments. It's in the description. Go ahead. Get yourself a new NFL jersey. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it.
Fantastic deal, folks.
Next one coming in, Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle from Michigan.
Mayfield's an interesting prospect because I think the NFL is higher on him than I think I am going to end up being.
Okay.
The NFL liked him. That's why Kuiper and McShay kept putting him in round 1 because they get their stuff from the NFL. He still needs more time to develop, and that's why I like his fit for Indianapolis. That's why I went with Mayfield over, say, an Alex Leatherwood, for example, who I don't know where he ends up playing at tackle or guard. I think if you give him a year to learn behind Anthony Costanzo, frankly, probably move him to left tackle in the process, I think that sets up Indianapolis well in the long term. So Mayfield's been a bit up and down in his college career. I think a lot of the tools are there, and we saw with Colton Miller. If you're an athletic tackle, I think Mayfield will test as one, you'll get drafted early.
Joseph Asai, edge rusher from Texas, going to the Titans because Vic Beasley didn't work. Jadeveon Clowney didn't work.
You got to go get an edge, and I like Asai. He's had a really great year for Texas. I think he fits well with what Tennessee wants to do. He and Harold Landry, maybe it's not a dynamic 1-2 punch, but I think it's good enough at the edge spot.
Jets taking Travis Etienne at running back. This pick is via the Jamal Adams trade from Seattle.
Yeah, I thought about finding a way to get a receiver here, but I'm like, let's just pair Trevor Lawrence and Etienne up together. That's more fun. And they need a running back. You can take a receiver top of round 2 as well.
Shaun Wade going to the Jags, and this is one from the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, Shaun Wade's stock has dipped this year. Everyone hyped him up entering the year, including me. He was really good in the slot. I thought he was the second best Ohio State corner.
Okay.
Hasn't been as good this year. There's still some nice plays on his record, but he's gotten beat a lot more often than what we want to see. I think not having a full year kind of hurt Shaun Wade. I still think he ends up being a round 1 guy, though.
My favorite name in this draft, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, going to the Bills.
Yeah, Woo, if you want to call him short there. Matt Milano's a free agent. Get some more defensive help there for the Buffalo Bills. And
okay.
I think he's a fun fit with Tremaine Edmonds. Both those guys can fly, baby.
Jason Oweh, edge rusher, Penn State, going to the Browns.
Again, the edge rusher class I don't love. I think there's a lot of depth, again, outside that. If you're drafted in late round 1, early round 2, you'll find some good value there. Oweh's got the athletic traits you want. That's going to get him drafted early. Kind of like Kwity Paye. The production hasn't been elite, but the traits will get him drafted early. That's what the NFL wants, man.
It might be a year too late, but the Green Bay Packers getting Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU.
Marshall fits what they like at receiver. They like size and speed.
Didn't realize they liked receivers.
Vertical threats. That's what they've done with MVS and EQ St. Brown.
Yep.
They've taken these traits guys. Marshall's just been a lot more productive than those guys have been. I like his fit in Green Bay.
De'Aaron Kendrick, Clemson, going to the Chiefs.
I like De'Aaron Kendrick a lot in terms of upside. I think he's going to need some more time. He was a receiver when he played at Clemson to start. They were so decimated at corner they kicked him over there, and he's thrived so far. Watch out for him in round 1.
Chris Olave going to the New Orleans Saints from Ohio State.
You got Michael Thomas, and how much longer with
Emmanuel Sanders?
Not
I
much.
don't know, man.
Traquan Smith?
Nah.
Whoever your quarterback is, get another receiver. Olave's fluid. He's really pleasant to watch. Like, he just gets open with ease. It's part of that Ohio State offense. I like his fit for a shorter passing game in New Orleans.
And rounding out our first round, Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle, Notre Dame, going to the Steelers.
I thought about Alex Leatherwood here, but I don't know where Leatherwood plays. So because of that, he kind of fell out further than I thought he was going to. I like him as a potential round 1 guy. Eichenberg, I think, has a higher floor, lower ceiling. Contending team, might need a new left tackle. I think that makes a lot of sense for Pittsburgh.
So look into that crystal ball. Try to predict how many quarterbacks go in the first round.
Over-under is 4.5.
4.5.
So that means, do you think a Mac Jones or Kyle Trask gets into the end of round 1?
It wouldn't surprise me if a guy like Mac Jones did, just because it's an Alabama quarterback.
I've been impressed with Jones.
He's been a lot better.
Trask has high-end trait issues. Those aren't elite necessarily. I think 4.5 is a good over-under.
Oh, man. Anthony from the live chat says 6. Let us know.
I don't think they both go.
Down in the comments section. All right, Tom. Here's our day 2 picks. Some of these guys, or some of these teams, obviously don't have first-round picks. So walk us through these.
Yeah, I'll go quickly here. Seahawks, Jalen Phillips. I've been really impressed by him. There will be people, I don't know if I'm going to be one of them, who actually have Phillips ahead of Gregory Rousseau on their boards. Texans, I gambled on Tyler Shelvin. They cannot stop the run. There's a big guy to stop it. He also might be too big. Him at the combine measuring is going to be important. And I did want to end on Daniel Falele. 6'8", 400 pounds. That's what he's listed at. You want a people mover who can actually kind of move a little bit himself? I am intrigued by him. Give him a chance on LA.